What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to this episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Carney. And in this episode, I talked about the time I almost lost $4,000 and the lessons I learned from that. So let's dive in. How's it going, guys? Let's dive right in. Go into this kind of embarrassing story. So it's important, though. It was scary for me because this was the second most amount of money that I almost lost to something like this. Which you might be like, Thomas, what the heck? Why are you almost losing thousands of dollars? And I think it's because I have ambition, but it's also because I make dumb decisions. So, so a little bit of backstory about this time. So I thought it was time to hire a coach again. I was perusing through Instagram, as one does, and saw an ad that was for Christian coaches who are Christians who wanted to learn more about how to be a coach, essentially. And so this was Christian coaches coaching Christian coaches, essentially. That was how this was portrayed. And so I signed up for the form, signed up for the call. I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be a free call where I got a little bit of value, but that's not really what happened. It ended up being a sales call where a little bit what I would call sleazy sales tactics were used, and I ended up saying yes to the call. Saying yes to that call. On the call, I ended up saying yes, and spent $4,000. I gave them my credit card information. What saved me in the end, I'll be honest with you, what saved me from actually losing $4,000 is probably that they didn't have me sign anything. So that was on them. But in the long run, what ended up happening is I did not lose $4,000 because I learned the power of saying no. So we're going to jump right into that. So what does it mean? Before we talk about saying no, we're going to talk about what it means to say yes to the wrong thing, because that's what happened in my case. So saying yes to the wrong thing, it causes you to stray away from your calling. In this instance, for me, where I wanted to go into this coaching program, but then I realized pretty quickly, like literally, like right after the call was done, I realized that it's not what I wanted to do. I talked with Sean, who used to be the co-host of the Technically Short podcast. We talked, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you should get your money back because you clearly don't want to do this." And so that set off the whole thing of me talking with them and getting my money back. And now they didn't want to give me my money back, so I had to dispute it. That's a whole other thing. But but saying yes to the wrong thing, like I said, causes you to stray away from your calling. And that could be it can even just cause you to stray away from, the great things in life, right? Like you could say, let's put it in the context of eating habits. You can say yes to that next donut, or you can say no and put it down and say, I'm going to be healthier. I'm actually on a diet. I'm on a diet so I can lose weight. I'm actually not going to eat that donut because I need to leave room for the great food I'm going to eat later. Because you only got so much room in your stomach, right? You can't. We're going to get into this more. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but you only got so much room in your stomach. You can't fill it up with all these good things, all these sweet, delicious things. Because I love dessert. Don't get me wrong. But you can't fill your stomach up on dessert and then expect to build muscle and expect to have all this great energy if you didn't leave room for the great things, so for the things that are going to fuel you, the food that's going to fuel you for your future, the things that you're actually working towards. Whew, that's good. Sorry, I had to pat myself. I don't, always want to pat yourself on the back, but I'm pretty happy about that one. So for me, uh, when I went and said yes to this coaching program, I had said yes to the wrong thing, and I almost realized it too late. However, this experience gave me the wisdom to more easily say no to the next time. Kind of like how endurance works. It's all about learning, right? Saying no for me, going through this experience taught me to say no to these wrong things. Just like whenever you're enduring something hard, it teaches you to endure better the next time. Like this is all about personal growth and development and learning how to do learning how to do great things for yourself and for those around you. So why is it important? Why is this important for you? Why do you have to know how to say no to the wrong things and yes to the right things? Like, why does that matter? Well, if you're pursuing your calling, if you're here and you're a pursuer, like, then I believe this is something that a skill that you want to perfect. You want to be excellent at. Excellence does not mean perfection. We're going to strike that away right now. But saying no to the wrong things, it will help you stay on your path of pursuing your calling and away from the path that only takes you away from it. This might seem a little vague, so let me try to put it into a little bit more context. Saying no to something doesn't necessarily mean that thing is bad. Like we already talked about with the donut. Donuts aren't bad. They're bad for you, but they taste good. And eating one donut isn't going to kill you, right? It's not a bad thing to eat. I don't think it's even a bad thing to eat one donut, right? It's not healthy for you, but it tastes really good. And it gives you a little bit of satisfaction. It makes I love sugar. God, can you? I kind of want to get dessert now. I want a donut. Go to Oakmont Bakery. But does that make any sense? I actually really rushed through that lesson. But why is it important for you? Think about your calling. Think about the things that you could be doing better. Think about the things. I want you to actually comment below. Comment the things that you either given up in the past for the sake of great things, or if you can't think of something, comment below the things that you can give up in order to make room for the great. Comment what you're going to give up and the great thing that you're going to replace with it. There are so many great things out there, but there are way more good things, right? There's so many good things to say yes to. The instant gratification is everywhere. How are you gonna say no to these? How are you gonna say no to these good things? And where are you gonna say no to? And why are you gonna do it? See, how, what, and why. Why are you going to say no to these things? It's because you're pursuing your calling. You have a great calling on your life, something that God has destined for you, something that you're living in every day. You can't do that well. You can't do that with excellence if you keep saying yes to all of the right. You can't keep doing that if you're always saying yes to the good, only the good things, and saying no. And you especially can't do that. And honestly, I think this is actually more important. If you keep saying no to the wrong, if you keep saying yes to the wrong things, you keep saying no to the right things, like, I think that's when people start to spiral. That's when people's lives start to go into the pits. But that's also where you learn, to kind of, that's also when you get sharpened. That's also when you're kind of against the grindstone, to learn how to say yes, to endure, and say yes to the right things, say no to the wrong things, and stay on the right path to pursue your calling well. Does that make sense? I want you to tell me in the comments what you think of this episode so far. I'm going to go talk a little bit about one more lesson, just very briefly, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, how to listen to your mentors. That's another great lesson that I learned here, because there are two people that I talked to during this. I talked to Ed Newell, Pastor Ed Newell, who has been on the podcast, and I've also talked to Pat Williams, who was also on the podcast previously. And they both gave me great advice. They both I called both of them on different times whenever I was spiraling out of control because I was losing my mind about losing $4,000. I was really stressing out, guys. And they, why you want to set how to why you want to listen to these mentors, or why you want to find mentors, because they know more than you. They know more than you. They've been through more than you. They've experienced more most of the time. And like Pat, I would send him updates about what these guys were saying to me, like through Instagram messaging. They were telling me I was going to lose my money. I would message Pat, and he was like, "No, Thomas, you're fine. You're good. You didn't sign anything. Like, you're fine. Just wait. You're going to get your money back. You're not, you." And he just kept me calm, kept my mind right. And Ed did the same for me. Ed, I called him once whenever I was spiraling out of control and I knew it. So I called him and I was like, I just need to talk because I can't be in my own head right now. And because I was thinking about how terrible it was, I would lost $4,000. I was beating myself up, and he helped me not do that. He gave me grace. And so I want to say just real quick to finish off this episode, if you don't have any mentors, find them, seek them out. Most of the time, they're not going to find you, so you have to find them. You have to reach out to them. You have to serve them, and ask them how you can help them, so that you know that you value them. They know that you value them. There's a whole lesson in that. There's a whole podcast episode in that. But but I really just felt like I wanted to say that. I really wanted to say, like, through that whole experience, the biggest thing that got me through it was my mentors that I already had established in my life. So, guys, if you listen to this whole episode, which at this point I think you did, give it a 5-star review. Follow the Pursuit of Calling on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And subscribing really helps out the algorithm, helps it push to more people. And also, what else helps? Giving a 5-star review. Already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Give a 5-star review. Do it right now, so that other people can find this content and find and get value from it and learn something from it, and pursue so that in order to pursue their calling well. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.